One of the hottest topics we're dealing with today, politics. With debates underway, there's so much to consider. But have you ever thought about the science of it all and how it's being taught, how people learn to do it? We're putting politics under the microscope on this edition of Triad Perspectives. Hello and welcome to Triad Perspectives. I'm your host, Sandra Hughes. It's an intricate part of our nation, the forefront of many broadcasts and even the curriculum in many classrooms. Politics. I know you've been watching television lately and you see that everybody or somebody is running for something and they make sure you know it. There's no escaping it. Joining us today to help us better understand it all is Dr. James Mays, who's the interim chair of the Political Science Department here at North Carolina A&T State University. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I'm going to tell you, like many of our viewers, I'm overwhelmed by what I'm seeing on TV right now and hearing on seeing on social media and on radio and everywhere else. Are you?
Yes, indeed.
Good. So what do your students think? And when they come to your political science department, what are you teaching them? You're not teaching them how to be Donald Trump, are you?
No, we're not. And however, we have many people who graduate and go into electoral politics. Mm-hmm. And they use the subject matter that we teach in our courses to assist them. For example, we teach public administration. We look at things like budgeting, public policy, as well as we teach courses in international policy, international relations, and just political theory, so people can understand the political process.
So if a person is going to leave your political science department with a degree,
yes,
what else can they do if they're not going to run for office?
Well, there are quite a few things. As I mentioned, they can go into public administration, working in and managing agencies. Many go into working for other elected officials as staff in their offices. They do things like go into the Peace Corps. They go to law school. They get MBAs. So the political science degree is very flexible.
My brother graduated from political science department here at A&T, and he became a human resources manager for a big credit card company. Does that sound about what they do?
Yes. We look at behavior, the behavior of people in social and political groups. And we do that both in a longitudinal way, looking at changes over time, but we also do cross-sectional studies where we're looking at very specific behavioral characteristics of the body politic.
Is there one particular career most of your students go to?
Yes, many come through the door speaking about law school. However, we also like to steer them to graduate school to get PhDs in political science so they can come into the academy and work in public policy.
Mm-hmm. So are there lots of lawyers in our area who have come out of your department?
I can name a few. The retired Judge McSwain,
yes,
graduate of our department. And I won't go through all the list because there'll be some who will say, you didn't mention my name.
You didn't call my name.
That's right, yes. Okay. But there are, yes.
Okay. So what about your professors? Who are they? I mean, what are their credentials?
Well, the tenure track all have PhDs in political science. And they focus in on various areas, international studies, studies of national government, and public administration. Right, agencies both at the state, local, and federal level.
Now, we just went through local voting
yes,
a week or so ago, and we see how that turned out. But the thing that's really banging in our heads nowadays is the presidential election. What do you see? What do you think about what you're seeing on TV right now?
Well, you know, the James Madison and John Jay, when they wrote the Federalist Papers, they were very concerned about demagoguery. And they said that would be a bane in our political process. And what we're seeing today, of course, is not an honest discussion of the issues, but more demagoguery. And I think that's something that we need to be careful with.
Well, how do we, I don't know political science. I mean, I guess I've lived long enough that I understand politics, but when I hear people talking bad things about each other and slamming other people, what about that do I pay attention to? Or do I pay attention to it at all?
Well, I think we need to cut through that and look at the issues. Look at the performance of the candidates on the issues. We have some who have experience at the state level, who bring a lot of credentials, would bring a lot of credentials to the office of the president. There are some who perhaps have a deeper understanding of the political process, and our friends and neighbors, both near and abroad. And we need to be concerned about character. That's very important, and building bridges. You know, there's an old saying that there are no passengers on Mothership Earth. We're all crew. We all have to do our part. And so building a citizenry that works together without all of this other stuff is very important.
But the other stuff, why is that? Why do they do that?
Well, you know, you know, people try to play to the middle or to the lowest common denominator, thinking that that may make them popular. It's unfortunate, because all those things that we've seen from history, they just lead us into areas that either cause us embarrassment or we have to backtrack.
So how do we look past what Donald Trump is saying, or what Ben Carson is saying, or Hillary Clinton? How do we, they give us one thing up front, but how do we go behind that and see if there's someone we really want to vote for?
Well, there's an old adage that all politics are local. So you need to look at your community and at the things that are going on in your community. We have communities that are confronting issues of homelessness, food deserts, food security issues, education, healthcare. All of these issues are very important. Immigration, for example. And we need to ask people to start by looking at the context of their personal and individual situation, their community, and then build up from there. Sometimes people from the top, you know, they are not really familiar with what's going on the ground.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
So do we ignore the things that we hear in political ads that we don't like and consider that person anyway?
I think we need to be more proactive. I think we need to contact these various candidates and say, you know, I heard or saw your ad. I didn't appreciate what you said about X, Y, and Z. I would prefer that you focus on the issues. I am considering you. However, I need a few more changes in your message.
So how can a person go and find that information without actually trying to contact the candidate?
Well, all the candidates have websites, points of contact where people can get in touch. They can go through the national political offices of each party to obtain contact information. And then there are local organizers who have addresses, web pages, and things that they can contact.
So who are you going to vote for?
Oh, I can't tell you
Don't
that.
tell me. Don't tell me. I'll be honest with you, at this point, you don't know. I mean, this is going to be going on for quite a while now,
That's
right? How long?
That's right. Well, you know, November of next year, we will all find out. Again, I encourage everybody to vote. I encourage everybody to read the newspaper, yes, and watch the debates, right? Because that's going to help inform them about the decision that they need to make.
So the candidates that are making the most noise out front,
Yes.
and there's so many behind them that you don't hear very much from.
Yes.
What does that say to me? Does that say I just need to pay attention to these that are raising a lot of sand, or do I also try to look behind the scenes?
No, I think, again, you need to sift through the candidates based upon the issues that are important to you. It doesn't matter whether they're on the first panel or the second panel in a debate. You should support the candidate, support the candidate's position, and I think you should follow the process all the way through to the end.
If that happened, what would this country become?
Well,
if we really did that.
Well, as one of the larger democracies in the world, we have the smallest participation by citizens. I think it would cause a profound change, and so we want people to participate. And we need to say to people, We're not trying to control how you think, but we want you to think and participate in the process.
So how do we get them to do that? I mean, because if you watch some of the stuff that's on TV, you get kind of turned off by it.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
just
And if I
ignore
could
it.
answer that question, I think I'd have a different job.
You'd probably be president, wouldn't you?
Well, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, but I do want to find a way, and I think you all do too, so that people can understand the process and not just pay attention to the show that's put on
That's
for
right.
them.
Our motto in the department, we have 3 values we ask all of our students and faculty to aspire to: legacy, integrity, and competence. And when we talk about governance, integrity is very important. The people also need to be able to do what they say they can do the job. And so these are values that we believe people should use to evaluate the candidates.
Say those again.
Legacy, integrity, and competence.
Okay, so if we do that, then maybe we'll be all right. you
Yes,
think?
I think so.
Well, I thank you very much for
Well, thank
helping us
you.
look past what we're seeing right now and try to
Yes.
make a smart decision next year. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Dr. Mays. Good to
It's been
have
good
you with us.
visiting with you.
Good. We're going to take a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll meet with Greensboro's choice, one of her choices for City Council. So stay tuned.
This is the North Carolina A&T State University Historical Minute. I'm Marilyn Parker. The Dudley Memorial Building houses more stone applications than any other building on A&T's campus. A sweep of 15 stones guide visitors to the main entrance. Built in 1893, the original facility contained a library, an auditorium, and administrative offices. In 1930, a fire led to a reconstruction, and the facility was renamed after A&T's second president, James B. Dudley. Today, the building is home to the Maddie Reed African Heritage and H.C. Taylor Art Galleries, music classrooms, and laboratories. The Dudley Memorial Building is located on the east side of campus, directly behind the statue of the A&T 4 and right across from Dudley Road.
Welcome back. 2 terms. The votes are tallied, and my next guest has been prevailed over his competition. He's been reelected to District 2 of the Greensboro City Council. So please welcome back to Triad Perspectives, Jamal Fox, who was with us just a week or so ago. Nice to see you, Jamal. Congratulations on your win. I hear that you sort of won hands down. Is that the way you say it?
Well, it was a nail biter.
Oh, really? But you did so well.
We did.
So how did you achieve that? I just heard Dr. Mays, and you heard him talk about the things that you've obviously learned here in political science. So how did you make it so they just slid right through?
Well, it was the community buying into the vision, what we wanted to do. They've seen the progress we made the last 2 years on City Council, and it was a vote of confidence. They felt like the progress that we made was good. We're still not where we need to be, but you know, after meeting with the community, going to community meetings, being everywhere, I think it really said a lot about the leadership that I showed.
Well, in the first time you were running for election, you had a lot of obstacles to overcome it, and you know, that's all we heard about in the papers and on TV, the things that you were going back and forth with your opponent with. How did that teach you more about how to run for an office?
It did, and you know, before I actually ran, I went through IOPL, the Institute of Political Leadership, and it really gave me the tools that I needed to know how to run. Going through the campaign, it was like a roller coaster at times, and it really challenged my emotions. It really challenged me as an individual to really focus where we need to go and how do we need to get there. And just going through that the first time, it really set me up for this time. I wouldn't say it was a walk in the park, because I still needed to do the work, and I still need to be out there shaking hands, talking to people, delivering a vision, not only for the district, but for the city as a whole. And just going through that, it really helped me as a man, for one, and I stayed in tune with my faith. And I tell you, I walked in faith, and it really carried me through.
Now I'm thinking, are the youngest member of the Greensboro City Council. Would that be right?
Yeah, ever.
Youngest ever? I didn't realize that. So how do you keep up with those guys that have been around for a long time?
Oh, just youth. You know, I can run around them a little But it's really just working with them. You know, one of the things I always tell young people, we have a good thing with us is our youth, but we actually have to go to them and learn from them. And I try to grab a lot of the wisdom for the ones who've been here for years. And I tell you, like Mayor Pro Tem Yvonne Johnson and all the knowledge that she has, or Congresswoman Alma Adams, or Senator Gladys Robinson, the folks who have been in our community, I've been to them, talked to them, and really gained some of that knowledge and use that as I move forward.
So you don't go in there trying to be the lead person right up front.
No.
You have to take a step back and learn, right?
Yeah, you got to first be prepared to walk in there into the lion's den, but also understand that there's more lions in that den, and you need to learn from them before you even can step out on faith and do what it is that you said that you was going to do for the community. And I believe I've been successful in that, learning from my colleagues, working with them, because you can't do anything yourself. You have to get 5 votes, and you have to get your colleagues with you, and so understanding that as a political scientist really been beneficial.
Well, I'd like to ask you, not about the City Council, but about your vision for the city of Greensboro as you go through the next terms.
I would say that the vision I have, not only for my district, but the city as a whole, is I want to make Greensboro and my district a destination. Right now, as the chair of economic development for the City Council committee, is jobs. Making sure we put people back to work, that we're giving them the opportunity, and rebranding our city. We've always been known as Tournament Town. We've always been known as Gate City, but what we need to be known as the City of Opportunity. This is a city that you can come to and you can have that second chance of hope, that installation of hope, that we care and we would do everything for you to succeed, and Greensboro is open for business.
So you obviously have to meet with a lot of people to talk about what you see for the future of the city and how you think we can go about obtaining it, right?
Oh yes, we're in various meetings with CEOs and business owners across the city weekly. Just met with one yesterday, just talking about what can the city do better and what you all can do for our community. And it's really a relationship building mechanism, because everything that's economic development related or business related, it builds on relationships. And so we're building that. That way we can have the see the fruits of our labor in the years to come.
You were a student of the Institute of Political Leadership. Did that help out a lot?
It did. It did. It helped me with interviews like this. It helped me understand.
I'm easy.
Yes, you are, and I appreciate that. But it really helped pull together when you talk about putting together a successful campaign. One of the things that, and you see nationally and statewide, people want to tear each other down. You can run a successful, positive campaign, and I've shown that in my first election, that you can win staying positive, and that's some of the things I took away from IOPL.
Okay. Well, we look forward to see what you're going to bring to the city of Greensboro. Thank you very much, Jamal,
Thank you
for being with us today. Good luck. Stay with us. When we come back after this short break, we'll hear from a member of the organization that's molding the future politicians of our state. And as a matter of fact, you know, they're the people who helped Jamal Fox win the District 2 City Council race. You're watching Triad Perspectives, so stay with us.
This is an A&T Historical Minute, and I am William Robinson. The Corbett Sports Center opened December 3rd, 1978. It is named after Ellis F. Corbett, a 1931 graduate of A&T. Officially known as Mr. A&T, his official title was Sports Information Director. He performed many other roles on campus, including dorm counselor, and he was a member of the board in control of intercollegiate athletics. The 3-story complex includes office space, classrooms, and 2 racquetball courts, in addition to an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Corbett also houses many of the human performance and leisure study courses at A&T. The Corbett Sports Center is the current home of the North Carolina A&T men and women's basketball teams and the swimming team. This has been a Historical Minute, and I am William Robinson.
Welcome back to Triad Perspectives. Now, before casting your ballot, you know, some thought must go into your choice, right? Well, you want a candidate that's honest, respectable, and ethical. Well, there's an organization that's going through tremendous work to prepare future leaders. Joining me now is Ross Harris, who is the Executive Director of the Institute of Political Leadership, and also one of her students, J.D. Gallion, who is with IOPL. Good to have you. I got to
Thanks
tell
for
all
having
of
us.
y'all right now, Ross was my first intern
That's right.
at WFMY in 19...
Wow.
In other words, it was a very long
It's a
time
long
ago.
time ago.
But we've been connected since then.
Yes, we
Glad to
have.
have you with
Thanks
us
for
today.
having us. We're thrilled to be
First
here.
of all, I need to ask, what is IOPL? We keep hearing those initials.
Sure, it's the North Carolina Institute of Political Leadership, and it's been in existence. Next year will be our 30th year, which we're really proud of. Started in the early 70s by Bill Friday, longtime chancellor of the university system, Richardson Pryor, his cousin Smith Richardson, and Walt DeVries. He's a longtime political consultant. And they just thought not so much that it wasn't that the right people weren't running for office, but the people who were running didn't have the skill set to really run a collaborative, ethical campaign.
What do you mean skill set? Like speech or?
There's some practical applications, how to do a stump speech, how to do a radio interview, a TV interview, an interview by a newspaper reporter, but also a lot of theory. We teach people the theory of debating, for example. We help them understand the differences between the liberal and conservative points of view, the differences between city and county government. So there's a lot of strategy intermixed with a lot of political practical application as well.
So JD, why did you select to be a member of IOPL?
Well, first I interviewed for it, so I was lucky enough to be selected, and it really was an investment in my future. I would like to eventually run for city council, maybe mayor one day, but really I thought it was a great way to learn more about my political philosophy, what I thought, and meet other people who were like-minded individuals who wanted to invest in our local area's future.
So this is something coming from your heart, right, and your
Absolutely.
mind, not just something to do.
Definitely.
Okay, are you learning?
Oh my goodness, absolutely I am. I couldn't even begin to tell you everything I've learned. It's been great just meeting new people and making new friends, and that's sort of the first thing I got to really enjoy about the program was the people who were involved and participating, not only the leaders like Ross and Deb, but also the other students in the classroom. But I mean, I've learned how to run a campaign or run my own campaign. We've learned about the finances. We've learned speaking. Goodness, Ross,
It's a long list, huh?
It is.
So what makes this program different from any other program of people who want to be political candidates?
I think several things. First of all, it's a very rigorous program. I mean, it's an 11-weekend program from either August through December or January through May. So it's a very rigorous curriculum. So I think that makes us very different. Also, it is nonpartisan. We certainly train Democrats and Republicans and independents, but we do it in a nonpartisan manner, which means that they are taught collaboration, how to work together, how to respect each other, how to listen to each other. And we say, the students have said that it's really a life-changing experience to go through this. I know even for me, this is only my third, as I say, semester with the program. I started July 1st of 2014. It's changed me. It really has. I think I'm a better listener. I've moderated a lot in some of my thoughts, and I've learned a lot about myself.
So do you teach them how to talk trash on the air?
No, not.
We're hearing a lot of that, you
Yeah,
know.
we do. We tend to do. That's what politics, unfortunately, has become known for, which is really unfortunate. No, we really don't. We teach them to focus on the issues, how to express themselves in a persuasive manner, and actually, importantly, how to listen.
Good. What's the one thing that you think you've gotten out of this program more than anything else?
I would say truly friendship with people who I would not have encountered. A 68-year-old woman who wants to run for school board in Moore County. Would have never encountered her before, and she's almost like a motherly figure. And it's really just the friendships of people who are completely and totally different than I am, but I love and appreciate their points of view, and I love and appreciate them as people because they genuinely care about me and my future politically and personally, as do I. So,
Ross, it sounds like a program that all people, period, whether you want to be a candidate or not, should take.
Absolutely. We say it's the oldest nonpartisan leadership training program in the state for people who want to be in public service, and that can be elected or appointed. So you don't have to want to be in elective office, but I think it's the kind of thing that would help everybody in terms of how to evaluate candidates and how to cast their votes.
So how are you teaching your students, like JD, to handle what they're seeing in the media now?
Yeah, well, I think we say what happens in IOPL stays in IOPL. It's a very safe environment, and so the students can try things out on each other in a very safe environment, and we just don't tolerate anything that is not respectful. Certainly there have been incidents in the past where students will get into a discussion, and if it becomes a little heated, we explain to them it's okay to be passionate about what you're talking about, but you have to respect the other person's point of view.
Okay. Don't call names.
Absolutely not. Nope, absolutely not.
Aw. So he said that you were saying that you had to be interviewed to get in the program. What's the interview like for?
Well, the
or
interview,
like?
myself and my deputy, we interview every student that applies. Not everyone gets in. We try to limit the class to be 15 to 20 people per session. We like the intimacy that's developed with a smaller class. And they have to express why they're interested, what they might want to run for, what they think they're going to get out of this. They have references. We check every reference to make sure that their references think they also would be additions. What JD said is true. They all learn from each other. The class this fall is ages 22 to 69. So it's all over the board. So you can imagine the experiences that they bring and the perspectives they bring are so diverse. We always balance the class to be equal, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, so it's never weighted one way or the other. So it's a very respectful environment.
So how do people apply to be in the program?
They apply. Our website is www.iopl.org, and the application is on there, and that's the best way to have them apply.
So when should they get it in for the next session?
We're interviewing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
now
it's
would
too
be
late for next session?
It is not too late. We
Oh.
have our first set of interviews on Friday, so it's not too late. And we'll be interviewing through the middle of December.
Wow.
So now is a great time to apply.
With all that's going on in the media right now, JD, do you see what you like and don't like?
I do. I really don't like the lack of collaboration. That's one thing that has been stressed. And working with people who may oppose you, but it's really something that I've seen that I really like working with my fellow students, and it's something you just don't see. It appears that politicians truly don't like each other, and regardless of how someone feels politically or lies politically, you should still like them as a person, or at least make an effort to like them as a person, and that's something that this class has taught me.
Well, I would assume that you're watching the media and what's going on with the political candidates right now, unlike someone who's never taken this class or someone who just listens to what they hear and go by that. Is that right? And so how can those of us who are not in your class judge what we see?
Well, I think like the professor said earlier, try and really focus on the issues. Try to ignore the clutter as best you can. I mean, I don't know that anyone really likes it. I suppose some people do, but it's hard to focus on those issues. So go to their websites, talk to representatives of the campaign. Sometimes that's a good way to also find out what the candidate stands for, is who they associate themselves with.
Now, Jamal Fox was on just before you,
we're
who
so
was
proud
one
of
of your students. Anyone else that you'd like to mention who went through the program?
Oh gosh, we have over 1,000 alumni after
Oh, my
30
goodness.
years.
Oh.
But currently, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, State Supreme Court, Mark Martin is an alum. Lane Marshall, Secretary of State. Janet Cowell, State Treasurer. So we have lots of notable alums, and then also lots of folks who are just doing wonderful things in their communities.
Now, about, 20 more years ago, you and I were talking about you being in TV.
Yeah.
So now, are you changing your mind about that?
Yeah, when we worked together, I mean, it was more than 20 years ago, unfortunately.
Well, don't tell anybody.
Sorry, it's a big secret. I thought maybe something in TV was what I really wanted to do, but as I got into it, I just realized that there was more to it, and I
And you left me hanging there, didn't you?
let you hang in.
Thank
Professionally,
you so
not personally.
much. Good to,
You
good
too, my
to
dear.
see
You
you.
too, you too.
Thank you, JD. Very nice having you both with us, and
Thank you
good
for
luck with
thanks
all
for
of your
having us.
students.
Love
Yeah. Now that concludes today's segment, so be sure to join us here on Time Warner Cable Channel 69 every Monday at 5:30. We encourage you to connect with us on social media, like us on Facebook at Triad Perspectives. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at TriadP_NCATJOMC. View us on YouTube, searching NC Aggie TV. Also, reach out to us on our website. You can have a comment and watch previous shows, and it's all at your fingertips. All you have to do is type in blogs.ncat.edu/TV studio. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think, what you want to see, what you don't want to see anymore, or whatever. So thank you for being with us today to see our guest, and have a great, great evening.